What's up, everybody? Today on our channel we are going to replace a leaky fill valve in my downstairs toilet. It's by my office, it's by my eBay stuff, and it's always, for the past couple weeks I haven't been able to get to it, and it's just leaking. It's making the water run and run and run and run. So we found I've had this for a while. We picked it up at a thrift store and we use this in our upstairs master bath as well. This is Duo Flush Fluid Master Fill Valve, and we got it for about $7.50. Cheaper than in the hardware store, Home Depot or Lowe's. But we really like this. It's a dual flush. Like I said, it has you can do a half flush by pulling up on lever and a full flush pulling down on lever. And we really like that. Saves a little bit of water. But I've already started in a little bit on this one. I've already taken out the little float ball, the old handle, and the flapper. I did replace the flapper hoping that was it, so this is a new flapper. It's a corky flapper, which we also got at a thrift store for 50 cents. But it was the fill valve itself. So we go over here with the, I've already taken the lid off, and like I said, took the handle off right here. That's easy. That's just one little nut on the back. And I've taken off the, like I said, the ball, and I've taken off the flap as well. You see all this crud at the bottom, and this is just, lime and rust and stuff. Just a little bit of, we don't have too terribly hard water, but see all the black stuff? That's not, fecal matter or anything. That's just this gasket disintegrating, essentially. See this black gasket here? And the one over here? That just basically deteriorates over time, but it's fine. It's not leaking below, and you can see the bolts that hold the tank onto the main base unit is rusted as well. And these can start leaking, and sometimes you will have to replace these as well, but this one is not leaking, so I'm not going to mess with this at this point because these are a pain in the buttocks to change out. But once you have turned your water off, which you should have a fill valve, just like that one, turn your water off, flush your toilet. Your tank will empty for the most part, but you will need to get a rag and sop up the excess moisture, which I've already pretty much done. And yeah, you can see all the black gasket and goo on there. So yeah, okay, we'll get that out of the way. So our next step will be to remove our main fill valve. I've already had the water off, and to remove that, you go down underneath. This is your water line. And this is just an old school copper water line. And this is the flange nut. And you'll loosen that and just pop off your water line. You will probably have a little bit of moisture come out of that water line, but not too terribly. But we're going to go ahead and pop this fill line off of there. I always give it a little twist just to see if I can loosen it up a little bit. That one's pretty much on there pretty good. So, and I do have my pair of pliers here. So I knew I may be doing this one-handed. I could probably get this, but not one-handed. You could do this with a normal adjustable wrench as well. There we go. Easy peasy. So that'll slide down, and that's fine. You see the moisture coming out of it? That's fine as well. You'll have to pull down that a little bit and just bend it over just a little bit. Yeah, you see that moisture, and just like I said, what happened? Got our rag, and we'll just sop that up a little bit. Our dirty rag. That's okay. So now that our nut is off, there'll be one more. This is the nut just for the water line, the flange nut, and there's one more nut holding on our fill valve, and it's really up there up close. You see that? So now we're going to get that one off. I'll see if I can do it one-handed. No promises. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Okay, I think we got that. But, well, spoke too soon, didn't I? Okay, we'll just take that all the way off. Sometimes it's advisable to go ahead and replace that water line with a steel braided, but I'm not going to do it this time just because This toilet is probably temporary anyway, as we will be renovating this little bathroom completely soon. So I'm just going to replace the fill valve, just bare minimum, you know, thrift store fill valve. There it is, popped right off. Throw that in our sink over here with the rest of our junk. Okay. So, let me see here. That's my stand. I didn't know if I was going to need that or not. I'm going to show you that because it looks gross, but all it is black gasket fluid that I've squeezed the rag. But it does look kind of gross, so I won't show that. Okay. So here we are. I'm going to give that a wipe again. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so next step is to unbox this member jammer. Now I have installed one of these before, but it's been a couple years, so I'll be right back with you. So here we are. I got my handy dandy instructions. As you can see, you know, clean the surface like I talked about. We leave this part, this little fill pipe part, you know, all that stuff. And we have an angled one. You can, yeah, you have a flat one, which is a really old style, or an angled one. We do have an angled one. So if you have a flat one, the additional part, we don't need that. So we take this part here. We remove a line. And you see here it said, remove the paper sealant from ring on angled seat adapter and align in place on flush valve seat. Push down firmly to ensure a complete seal. Sounds easy, huh? All right. Let's see if we can do it one-handed. Sticky. Can't do it one-handed. Okay, so this is where you got to pay attention to the arrows and stuff. You see this arrow? It's got to go towards, to say there, align in place flush valve seat. Yeah, the arrow goes towards the pipe. Okay, see that? So it'll go with the arrow towards the pipe. Okay, put you down for a second. Okay, I'm gonna give this a little wipe here and make sure we have our clean surface here. Oops, yeah, definitely not clean because that gasket is definitely deteriorating. But you'll give it a wipe just to make sure. Okay, so we have our thing. We're going to take off the paper. Make sure our arrow is towards the pipe and it'll click, and you still push it down because it has some putty. You know, that's what we're taking the paper off for, like a wax ring almost. So push, there it clicked in, and push, 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 push. Push hard. You just don't want any leaks there. Okay. All right, on to the next episode. All right, so next up is our main unit. It's so big, I don't know if I can get it in there, but let me see if I can tilt this up. Yeah, it's our main fill valve type of unit, and this again has an arrow. See an arrow right there, and the arrows line up. It's easy peasy, and this will just snap into place. Just gotta push down. I think they got it. Just snapped it right into place. All right. We will take these little things off here in a little bit. All right, looking better. So next step is installing what looks like a traditional, you know, fill valve. So install the water shank washer, or the shank washer. Yep. Okay, so let's get all this stuff out of the bag. The shank washer, this is our nut that goes on the underneath side that we took off earlier. This is a new water line nut, which we probably won't use. Not probably, we won't use that. So I'm gonna set that to the side. And this is the clip for our water line to go onto the main middle unit or dual flush system. So first thing we got to do is install that shank washer. You can see it right there. You can see how it's got outlined there with the fat part up. That's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to take that. You just got to kind of push it on there. Easier said than done with one hand, but we'll make do. Okay, let's get right back with you. You're on there to snug fit. So next step, we're going from step 6 to step 7. It says top of Performax fill valve must be 3 inches higher than overflow tube. That's after we get everything on there. You see right there it says to go ahead and feed that through a hole. That's this part inside of our tank through that hole. It's just, I'm not going to put a nut on or anything. I'm just going to set it in there. And we'll get that lined up here pretty quickly. Let's take a seat here. Okay, so what does it say to do here? So we got it in the hole. Yeah, see, this needs to be 3 inches higher. That piece we just put in right here has to be 3 inches higher than this unit right here. Now I'm looking at it, and that is not 3 inches. I know you probably can't tell from perspective, but it's probably 2 inches. So what does this say to do if it's not 3 inches? Next step, it says to adjust height, turn the shank. Do not move the lock ring. So we're going to take this back out of there. So there's your lock ring right there. Don't move that. And that's where we adjust it. So we're going to do that. Let me see. I doubt I can do that one-handed. Let me see if I can set this camera up. Okay, so this is our lock ring. And this is our adjustment here. Let's see where we turn. There we go. I'm grasping the gray and grasping the black part, and you just twist it out. I'm only going to do about an inch and a half, because that's what it looked like we needed. All right, so let's put it back in there and see where we're at. Okay. We got her back in there. And like I said, I know perspective with the camera's off, but that is just about 3 inches. Okay, so let's drop the instructions. So what do we do next? So we adjusted the height. We're going to step 9. So now we're putting our flange nut on. Lock nut. And that is right here. So the one thing you want to make sure of is you have this positioned the way they want you to position it. So if you look at the next step, they have this line fed through there just like that. They have it fed through kind of like through this and leave it like that. And they had this positioned like that. Yeah. See, they have the this armature pointing directly towards the side of the toilet. So that's how we're going to do it. So let's get this nut on. We got our lock nut on the bottom, and you just want to do it finger tight if you're fairly strong to get a good seal. You don't want to tighten it too tight because these things will crack. So if you don't have very strong hands, yeah, you may want to take your wrench, just like I had done there, your slip jaw pliers, and give it a little bit of snugness, but just finger tight. So we were talking about keeping our fill valve here straight, and basically you want to be able to read that fluid master, left to right, just like normal, and it'd be straight. I know the perspective's kind of skewed, but that's pretty darn straight. So what's our next step? So we got our lock nut on. So next step is to run our water line. All right. Remember the little clip from earlier? That's where this comes in. So got our water line here. Let's see here. We just stick it in the end there. Snug fit. It's really hard doing this one, ain't it? Okay. All right, and it already had a little clip here. See this is a little clamp for that. So you want to take this and just squeeze it and pull it over, where you just put that little other clip on there. All right. So moving up a step. Okay, so now we clip it onto our filling pipe, refill tube. It says clip onto right side of the overflow tube. Warning, do not shove refill down overflow pipe. So on the right side of it, get our clip there, on the right side of it. Get your hairy hand out of the way. All right. So the fill tube is on. Basically, you want the spout here pointing right down the tube. And you can adjust things here in a little bit with this as well. And if we need that, we'll cover that. That's covered in the instructions as well. Okay, so where are we at here? So we just clipped our water line fill onto the fill tube. It says secure clamps, which I showed you, I jumped up a step. I remember that one. And there's one on the other side too. It says it's already on there. See the clamp right there? It was already on there. Okay, so we secured our clamps. So now we're going to put our handle on. Oh, the easy part.
Oh.
Handle. All right, let me get this out of the bag. Okay, we got her out of the bag, and I went ahead and this nut was on there, but I've already taken it off. You want to make sure that gasket stays in place though. So this handle goes like orientated like this right there. Yeah, it's hanging out the outside there, but that's the way you want it to. What's weird is that that gasket's just going flush. It's not going into the hole. So let me see if I can hold you here while I get this nut back here. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen or not, like with one-handed. Usually these go on pretty easily, but this, because they're just vinyl nuts. But this one had a little bit of cross thread on it, so it's a little hard to get off. So let me get right back with you. Okay, we got our nut on our handle on, and like I said, it's just finger tight again. Like I said, if you don't have very strong hands, you can do a wrench, but just finger tight, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so there we go. So now we put our push button on actuator, which is this mammer jammer. Yeah. And we just push that right onto the end of our handle. To hold the handle, push down the button, slide it on. That easy. Okay, so what's up next? Should be getting there. Okay, we did all the handle stuff. There's the actuator, step 13. All right, next step is to turn on the water. Ooh, scary. Actually, we need to hook the water line up first. I didn't even see a step for that on here, did I? So we put the fill valve on here, but we got to hook the water line back up. And you just pop that right there onto the bottom. I probably need 2 hands for this. So you pop that on the bottom, get it lined up, and you just slide your flange right there back up and tighten it up. Hand tighten again. So I'll be right back with you. So we got our water line all hooked up again and tightened up. I haven't turned it on yet. I wanted you guys to be here to see it. So in case water splashes me in the face, you'll see it. Got everything hooked up. Our main fill valve, our dual flush. I took those little styrofoam tabbies off of there. This is our actuator to our handle. Pretty simple stuff. Water line into the fill pipe. And we have other, like I said, this is an adjustment. There's some other adjustments on here we'll tinker with. But let's turn the water on and see what happens. See if we get splashed in the face. This is going to serve multiple purposes, of course. We're going to see if it works. We're also going to make sure we don't have any leaks down here. You want to double check, even though, we tightened everything up. You want to make sure you don't have any leaks down here. So let's open her up and see what we got. So she's filling up, so you see all the black soot and stuff in those gaskets. So what I'm going to check for down here, you want to feel, make sure there's no leaks around the toilet, around the flange nut or anything, and there is nothing. So that's good so far. You will want to double check that after you've flushed a few times just to make sure. So we're waiting on that to fill up and then we'll tweak it. Because right now, whatever these settings are, one is on max and the other one's on like 7. I think this is like a half flush and full flush. But we'll see. And we're gonna let that fill up and we'll get right back with you. Water's filled up again. It's a little bit higher than it used to be. You can see the witness mark there, the old calcium, lime, and rust. It's about, I don't know, an inch higher or so. So what we have on here, these fine tuning these, I've already adjusted the half flush and the full flush to 1 notch above half. That's what the instructions call for. So I got them both on 6. And our fill valve has an adjustment too. You see this lever here? That's why this measurement was important, but I eyeballed it, but it is important where this needs to be 3 inches above this because it'll affect our float here and when to turn the water off. So let's give it a half flush here, which is up. Nice. See, it only lowered the water level about 2 or 3 inches instead of the full tank. That's really good. So our water line is filling up the fill pipe in there exactly, no splashing around. Actuator worked as it should. No leaks. Bingo. Shut off just the way it should, exactly where it should. All right, so let's do a full flush just to see where it'll go. So full flush is down. Seemed like the full flush was exactly the same as the half flush, so we may crank this up a little bit once it fills again. Let's adjust this up a little bit and see where we're at. It didn't seem like it had that suction you need for a full flush. Perfect. Okay, so let's adjust. I'll adjust up 2 notches to number 8. Okay, got a number 8 there. So let's give it another whirl. See the indicators here, this is half flush, this is full flush. That didn't seem like it did very effective either, but I'm just going to crank it up to the max once it fills again, and we're just going to see what it does, see how big of a difference. It's really impressive that it's only using a few inches of water. You can see with significant savings that would be. Okay, sorry about the noise, but that's part of doing this, right? It's a noise. So let's crank this up to max. Press down. All the way up to max. Let's see what we got there. Oh yeah, that was a significant difference. It took it down about halfway. So we're going to leave the full flush at max and the half flush right where it is. Because, it's for, half flush is for your number ones, full flush is for your number twos. But I think that is it. I think we got it dialed in. Our adjustment was really good for our fill valve and our fill pipe. Our flush for our half and our full. I think everything is good. So the last thing to do is just to put on the back tank cover. Ooh. Do this one-handed without breaking something. And that's it. Awesome. So that should fix our leak issues. Silent. Awesome. So half flush. Nice. All right. So that's awesome, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. That is our thrift store. Here's Mr. Hobbs. That is our thrift store fill valve. Fixing our toilet with the thrift store fill valve. I can't remember how much these were in Home Depot and Lowe's. Maybe I'll throw a link up, but I'm pretty sure these were 30 or 40 bucks. So yeah, save some water, save a lot of money. Awesome stuff. So that's it, guys. See you next time. There's Mr. Hobbs. Say hi, Hobbs. Hi, Hobbs. He is a good kitty. There's Miss Friday and there's Mr. Gatsby. Wow, you guys are in for a treat. Hi, Friday. All right, so that's it, guys. Thanks. We'll see you next time.